Upgrade your laundry routine with a durable and reliable Maytag laundry pair at Lowe's. Like the new Maytag washer and dryer with performance-enhanced stain-fighting power, designed to cut through serious dirt and grime. And what's great is this laundry pair is in stock and ready for delivery when you need it the most. Don't miss out. Shop Maytag in-store or online today at Lowe's.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
And big fans here of Wednesday's show every single week. Mike Palm studio in 30 minutes. Right now we begin the hour by heading out to the Progressive guest line and welcoming in the great Sal Paolantonio here. Wednesdays with Vito's son. Good afternoon, Sal. Pal, thanks for the time today. How are you?
It's such a beautiful irony that I've made my living as a reporter following the money, and now I'm on Follow the Money. It's great. It's fantastic.
Well said.
Yes.
It's always going to be a part of who you are, no doubt. Let's begin with that Eagles performance last week in Minnesota. The breaking out party here for that passing offense. They look great. Was that just that team finally figuring it out? Was it a little bit of bad Minnesota? What do you think of that performance overall?
You know, it was a great matchup because the go-for-broke defense of the Vikings under Brian Flores, you know, he does a lot of zero coverage, a lot of single high safety coverage, and the Eagles peppered in a lot of play-action pass. So they caught him in a lot of one-on-one situations, and the Eagles were perfectly matched up for that. They game planned for it, and they cashed in. And I think that was the major difference last week, no question. And they'll have an opportunity to do that this week too, because Shane Bowen, obviously, if you saw the end of last week's game in Denver, they played a lot of go-for-broke defense and they got burned. And you can run on them, and I think the Eagles need to get their running game going too. It's pretty interesting what's going on in the league right now, gentlemen. You only have 3 teams scoring 30 points or more a game: Colts, Cowboys, and Lions. So that's why there's so much room in these games to come back in the fourth quarter or overtime. Nobody is out of reach. Very few teams are out of reach, and very few teams know how to close out games. So I'm looking around the league, and I'm looking at, okay, what are the teams that can close out a game like the Eagles did last season in their Super Bowl run? You remember. They used the O-line and number 26 to just eat clock, keep the other team off the field. And I got 6 teams right now that I think can close teams out. And that's the number 1 team is the Colts, in my view. They're scoring over 30 points a game. They got a great running game. They know how to use their offensive line to close out games. That's why, in my view, they have the top ability, I think, to close out games in the fourth quarter and continue this win streak they're on. Another team, Kansas City Chiefs look so good offensively. You plug in the tape, and you got to be really bullish on the Kansas City Chiefs. Packers are another one. Here's a sneaky one for you: New England Patriots. New England Patriots are doing a lot with their run game that nobody is talking about, especially in the second half. And the other 2 teams are the Lions and the Rams. The Lions and the Rams. And, you know, when you get to week 8, the number 1 stat that I look at, and you and I have talked about this many, many times on this show, Follow the Money, the number 1 stat you've got to look at is points allowed, especially in the fourth quarter. And you look at the top teams in points allowed in the fourth quarter right now: Rams, Chiefs, Broncos, Patriots, Seattle, Falcons, Colts, Packers. And those teams right now, I think, are the teams that you got to watch really closely to close out games.
Good breakdown.
Yeah, excellent.
Excellent. I don't see how do the Giants bounce back after a loss like that? They got to be demoralized. Philly's catching them at the right time.
Well, you know, they are, and the Giants haven't won in Philadelphia in 11 years. They've lost 11 in a row in Philly. So that's not really the issue. If you're looking at the number is a big number. I mean, you know, 7's a very, very big number in the National Football League. And I'm not so sure that I like that number for the Eagles. I really don't. I mean, I don't think that they're not a high-scoring team most of the time. Last week, obviously, was the outlier against the Vikings on the road like that. But they also had the beneficiary of 2 turnovers. If the Giants don't turn the ball over, they'll be in this game.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of Dart?
I like Dart. Quick decision maker, but sometimes bad decision maker. That interception that he threw in the fourth quarter was a killer in 2 ways. One, shame on Mike Kafka, the offensive coordinator, Brian Daboll. You got to run the ball there.
Yep.
Agreed.
You got to run the ball. The Eagles didn't do it against the Broncos in the fourth quarter, and Philly got burned. And the Giants didn't do it in the fourth quarter against the Broncos and got burned in Denver. Now, there's some teams that are really interesting to look at as underdogs this week, I think. Browns, for sure. I know they're on the road, but the Browns are an interesting team defensively. Panthers at home, getting 7.5, very interesting home dog, I think. Bears getting 6.5 against the Ravens. The Bears have won 4 straight. They're hot. And the big one, and this is one we talked about last week, I couldn't understand why the Cowboys were home dogs against the Commanders, and I don't understand why they are 3-point underdogs to the Broncos. The Cowboys can score at will.
Yep, you're right. And it's also a crazy teaser week with all these lines, 7.5. Can the Ravens make the playoffs?
Don't know yet. This is a super important game for them. I mean, 1-6. Can you come back from 1-6?
No.
You can't, right?
No.
This is an absolute gotta-have-it game. And, you know, Ben Johnson has got that team playing really well in one important respect. They lead the league in turnover margin.
Hello.
They are number 1. And you know who's last in the league in turnover margin? The Ravens.
There you go. I did not recognize that with the matchup actually at this point. Yeah. Great observation by you. Sal Paolantonio is with us. It's Wednesdays with Vito's son, and he's on the progressive guest line. Has followed the money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Typically, you can bank on the Bills beating the Chiefs in the regular season. You don't want to back the Bills in the postseason because they can't get the job done there. Have you had enough time yet to examine this matchup to have like a strong opinion on who you think wins the game?
Well, you know, the Bills and the Panthers is a very difficult game for the Bills. They're coming off their bye. They had to straighten some things out defensively. I don't know if they have. The Panthers are a very good team defensively. They're very good. And they're a surprise team of the league right now. And if you don't catch them in a turnover mode, you're going to have problems with them at home.
Yeah.
That's a big number to give up to the Panthers. The Chiefs, you know, listen, the Chiefs are at home. They always seem to be home in prime time.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Home on Sunday Night Football, home on Monday Night Football, back-to-back Monday Night Football at home. Unbelievable. And the Commanders come in there, and they're not going to have their quarterback, it doesn't look like, this week, right? He's out.
Yep.
So Marcus Mariota against Patrick Mahomes, tough matchup for Washington. I see the Chiefs rolling in this football game. I really do.
I agree. That's my fault, Sal Pal. We were talking about the Week 9 numbers in the first hour, and I got it confused with next week's game when KC plays at Buffalo next week.
Yeah, KC at Buffalo next week. We'll look at it. I mean, that could be a Bills gotta-have-it game.
Sure.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there could be definitely a Bills gotta-have-it game. I want to see what changes McDermott did on defense.
Right.
I want to see what they do offensively. You know, they're not in the top 10 in points allowed. Let me repeat that. The Buffalo Bills in 2025 under Sean McDermott are not in the top 10 in points allowed. That's not good. They got to fix that, or they're not going to play the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game.
You're a Hall of Famer. You've been covering the league for 30 years. I'm asking you as a reporter, a guy who loves the sport and also a fan. Troy Vincent made the comments the other day. He might tell the owners we got to get rid of the onside kick. What do you think about the 4th and 15 play or 4th and 20 in lieu of the onside kick?
You know, I don't mind it. I don't think it's bad. You know, listen, whatever you got to do. I don't know what their data says about injuries on onside kick, but I'd like to look at it and study it a little bit more. I'm not against it.
I think the excitement with the 4th and 15 would be fantastic for the league and the fans because it's become it's so hard to recover an onside kick now.
Yeah, it would. There's a lot of things they got to do to get some more excitement in the game. I mean, obviously these last minute changes in the lead in the fourth quarter and overtime is super exciting. Mm-hmm. But you only have 3 teams in the league scoring 30 or more points. The quarterback play is a real problem. Quarterback injuries and quarterback play. If I'm Troy Vincent, who I've known since he was drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles and been around him and think he's a super smart guy, I would make sure you do everything possible to protect these young quarterbacks.
Yeah, and they've tried, but they still get hurt. They're not going to do anything with like kickers, are they, to make field goals more difficult after Aubrey hit yet another 60-yarder?
I think it's so cool. I want to see him hit a 70-yarder.
Me too.
Don't you?
Yes, absolutely. And I think that guy can.
Yeah. He's the robo kicker, man.
Sal Pell, you're the best. Thanks so much for the time as always. We appreciate it. Have a good weekend.
Watch the Bengals. Keep your eye on the Bengals.
There it is.
Yeah.
You're my man. Flacco fever. Thank you, buddy. You're the best. Remember, after Little hit from 70 in the preseason, Caesars put that prop up. Well, it happened in the regular season. They opened 30. It got down to 10. This is the game where it can happen. Aubrey in Mile High.
This would be the one.
This is where you cash your ticket.
I think this is the one game out of any of them this entire regular season where books should get creative with the props.
Yes.
And just offer alternate longest field goals made and go to like 69.5 and put a price on it.
Yep.
We'll go over the best and worst ATS teams in the NFL and college football up next. This team is perfect to the under on the year and staying under by double digits on average. Find out that team next here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
The Maestro makes his weekly appearance coming up in 15 minutes with us. Mike Palm, he's the VP of Circa Las Vegas. You cannot be serious. He's going to go scorched earth on another NFL head coach this week. Right now, Pauly, our weekly look at the best and worst teams in the National Football League and college football ATS, and with totals. Best teams in the league against the spread in the NFL, a bunch of them are 5-2, including the Indianapolis Colts, and they are covering on average by 10.9 points per game. And they are gigantic favorites this week against the worst team in football.
Yep.
Seattle's 5-2. Really good story. New England, Detroit, the Rams, and Carolina, 5-2 ATS. Sal Pell, last segment, making the case that they could be pesky this week at home against Buffalo.
I'll find out a lot about the Bills.
I think
you're right. Get it done. If they struggle here, it's sound the alarms.
The worst teams in the NFL, ATS. Baltimore's number 1. They are 1-5 overall, and they're missing the cover on average by 10.2 points per game. Vegas, Tennessee, New Orleans, all 2-5. Las Vegas and Tennessee are missing the cover on average by 7+ points per game. The Chargers and Broncos are 2-4-1. The Bills, Packers, Texans are 2-4 ATS. Packers, what do you think about their power rating?
Got to lower it.
I agree.
I'll give them a break with the travel and what happened stuck on the, out there on the tarmac for 5 hours. But the defense has got to get better. And they have too many weapons on offense to struggle like they do as well.
Yep. I did not realize that Miami's the best NFL team to the over. 7 games played, 6 have gone over so far. That Browns game did technically go over because of the closing number.
Yeah.
Baltimore and Minnesota are each 5-1. Baltimore goes over on average by 8.8 points per game. Minnesota's in action tomorrow night. Do you have a bet on that game?
Yeah, I like the over.
And you like the over?
Stops there, sure. With all the issues that the Chargers have as well, Herbert's going to move it on them.
I think it could be an aerial circus here.
I agree with you. He'll sling it.
Dallas and Cincinnati are 5-2 to the over. Here's the funny thing. So Dallas has played 2 unders full game, but the first half number, they're 7-0 to the over.
Yeah, the Cowboy game died. That was one of them. And I can't remember the other game, but you're right with all the first half overs.
So, and by the way, for the full season, again, they're going over on average by 13 points per game.
It's week 1 against the Eagles.
Eagles, yeah, after the weather delay.
The long delay. Yeah.
Yep. Bengals 5-2 over. Pittsburgh and that trashy defense 4-2 to the over as well. Best teams to the under in the NFL. Here you go. Atlanta's 5-1 to the under. And they're staying under by 7.7 points per game. Las Vegas is 5-2 under. Denver's 5-2 under. Houston 4-2 under. Houston and Denver play each other next week. We talked about that in the first hour of the program. That's like 38.5, 39.5. I think that's too many points.
Yeah, Monday night should have gone under. That was a fluke. All those ridiculous turnovers.
You want to know how impressive, as we go to college football now, Ohio State is?
This is big.
So we always say this, right? The point spread is the great equalizer, and these teams, okay, yes, they're laying a ton of points, but what's their true power rating? How good are they if they don't cover games most often? Ohio State has played 7 games. They are 6-0-1 or 6-1, depends on how and where you grade it at, but to the over. It's ATS, I'm sorry. 6-0-1 ATS. And they're covering on average by 8.2 points per week. That is damn impressive. And of course, Wisconsin was not a threat to score against them last week.
No. At this point, it's high comedy. Like, what will have to happen for Fickle to get fired? I mean, it's...
McIntosh came out after the game again and said, I got his back.
It's worse every week.
He's the AD.
I got his back.
But this is incredible by Ohio State.
It is.
Not very often you get like the best team or a top 3 team in the rankings who just mauls teams every single week. The following teams are all 6-1 ATS. Temple.
No. Really?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yep. And they're covering, by the way, on average by 12.1 points per game. Western Michigan, 6-1. Texas Tech. Utah State. Hawaii. Great story there.
It is.
Mississippi State. Boise State and Memphis are each 6-1. Think about that for a second. How the season started for Boise State to get clubbed like that against South Florida on the road. And now they've covered every single week.
That should be 5-2. Notre Dame killed them.
Oh, yeah, you're right. That number's off then.
Yeah.
Good call by you. The other one is Memphis 6-1 then too? Or do I have to question that one?
No, that's accurate.
Because they were
6-0 and they lost. Yeah, they lost outright to UAB. That was their first loss.
What a way to go down like that.
Yep.
The worst teams in... sorry?
No, it's embarrassing, I know. Knocks you out of the playoff discussion.
Yep. The following teams are all 1-6 against the spread in college football. Georgia State, Oklahoma State, Sam Houston, and Penn State. Those 4 teams are all missing the cover on average by 10-plus points per game. Va-Tech, Northern Illinois, Baylor, 1-6 ATS. Oregon State is 2-6. Best teams to the over in college football. Air Force finally played an under. That was against Wyoming last week. But on the season, through 7 games, they're 6-1 over, going over by an average of 18.7 points per game. Rutgers, 6-1 to the over. Their games go over by 10-plus points per game. Georgia Southern, 6-1 over. Tennessee, Marshall, North Texas, Pauly, all 5-2 to the over and going over by 10-plus points per game. In Tennessee's case, they're going over by 2 touchdowns per game on average. And this is the team I was talking about 6-7 minutes ago. Best college team in the country. There is one unblemished team to the under. It's Oklahoma. 7-0, staying under by 10.9 points per game.
Damn, that's impressive. Paul Stone gave out the under yesterday again. Coming up, try to make it 8-0. High total for an Oklahoma game.
I would agree with that.
In the mid-50s.
Yep. Their former quarterback, Jackson Arnold, in Auburn, they're 6-1 under, staying under by 9.1 points per game. James Madison, 6-1. Missouri State, 5-1 to the under. North Carolina, 1-1 under. LSU, Texas, and Liberty are 5-2 to the under, along with Florida, SMU, Wisconsin. There's a ton of teams that are actually still on the list. But LSU staying under by 11.4 points per week. Texas, 9.6, and Liberty, 9 points per game to the under. There you have it in college football and the NFL.
Our old friends are at it again. Golden Knights, every home game, the first period's gone over. They're 6-1 on the season. First period over. The Jets are 5-1. Tampa Bay 5-1. Goal in the first 10 at home. Vegas 4-0. Jets 3-0 on the road. Seattle 5-0 and Ottawa 3-0. Goal in the first 10. Look at Ian Duncan and our buddy Chris Otto for all the and Kevin Rogers does a great job with all the hockey numbers. First period, goal in the first 10, and all that stuff as well.
Let me give you a hockey game that I like tonight.
Sure.
So the Detroit Red Wings are 5-1 on the season. They have not played since Sunday. They lost opening night to Montreal 5-1. Pauly, since then. They won back-to-back games against Toronto, one of those on the road. They beat the champs, Florida, 4-1. They beat Tampa, and they covered the puck line against Edmonton by beating them 4-2. They've won 5 straight games. They get Buffalo. The Sabres on the season are 2-4. They also beat Florida on Saturday, 3-0. They lost to Montreal on the road on Monday night. Now they come back home to play the Red Wings, not having played a game since Sunday. Why is Buffalo taking money? Why are they favored in this game?
Yeah, I don't have an answer. Interesting.
I took the Red Wings at even money in this game today. I did recently run this by Jeff Davis here at Circa, if they were worth a bet, just based on who they've defeated so far. Like, are they worth a bet to win the whole thing? In his opinion, he said no.
Really?
They're just not good enough.
Okay. And Montreal's at it again. The backup goalie's playing. So that means bet Calgary to score the first goal. When the backup goalie, Dobbs, whatever his name is, when he plays, the opponent has scored first 17 of the 20 games. That's nuts. And I know Jonathan Davison likes to come back and bet Montreal in play, and that's been successful for him as well. That goes at puck drop 5:30 Pacific.
I went to Jack Eichel's start to the season's been ridiculous in a good way. I went to go look after his another great game from him. I think it was over the weekend, to grab some number on him to win the Hart. He was already down to like 6-1.
Is he?
Oh, he's got, I think, 16 points already on the year. He has been a points machine so far to begin the season.
First Bet, official racing partner of VSiN. They're thrilled to bring an exclusive offer to bet the Breeders' Cup World Championships. Promo code VSINBC. VSINBC. You'll be entered to win all expenses paid trip to Vegas. When you deposit and bet $200, when you deposit and bet just $100, you get a full year subscription to VSiN Pro. Great content, picks, and more. Bet the Breeders' Cup with First Bet, the official racing partner of VSiN. Promo code VSINBC. That is incredible with the bonus and the trip to Vegas on the line.
You're not
Good
kidding.
luck. Go get it.
Wednesdays with the Maestro, Mike Palm, VP, Circa Las Vegas in studio coming up next. He loves betting on Major League Baseball. Who does he like in the World Series? We'll find out next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Welcome back. Thanks for watching today on YouTube TV, listening on Sirius XM, channel 158, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio as well. It is Wednesdays with the Maestro. The great Mike Palm joins the program now, VP of Circa Las Vegas, the D and the Golden Gate here in downtown. Hey, pal, how are you?
Hello, Mitch. Hello, Paul. How are you?
Doing well.
Mike.
You're going to go scorched earth on another NFL coach coming up in 15 minutes.
It was pretty bad.
It was bad.
It was bad.
Did you see his tweet? So last week was the anniversary of the Gibson home run. And I said, I'll never forget where I was watching with my dad. The guy was limping. I could barely get to home plate. How did he do that? He serves it. And this guy comes in. Is this true? And how do you remember this?
It was a Saturday night. I was at home with my parents. Golden Girls were on delay because of the game one. I watched it. Canseco hit a grand slam off Belcher in the first.
Okay.
I remember every pitch of the game.
You were waiting on the Golden Girls, though. The hell with the game.
I was waiting on the goal. They were in the midst of season 2. I mean, the show was just getting off the ground.
With Blanche and the crew.
They were rock stars
You
back then.
remember that.
I was disappointed as a young kid. I thought we were going to get Elf that night. No Elf.
Elf. This is Achmonic.
What a memory. Incredible.
What do you got? You got heard. I got a lot of messages to me. I'm over in the hotel meeting. Mitch and Paul going on about the Vikings quarterback situation. Mitch and Paul, they know it all. I tell you guys everything. I've given you the truth about all of it. Darnold was cursed there. It was over for him after his performances in the 2 biggest games of the year. at Detroit, and then against
Got
the
that.
Reds. They had to move
Couldn't
on
pay
from
him.
him.
Fine.
He wasn't going to take him to a
Okay,
championship.
number one, Danny Dimes.
All right, let's talk about Danny Dimes.
You're missing one, though. Yeah.
The point of Tannehill still, and Rodgers, right? You want to talk about Rodgers?
They could have
Tannehill still wanted to play for him, but he always wants a 2-year contract. If Tannehill would have taken 1 year, they never would have got Darnold last year. Let's talk about Danny Dimes. He wanted to start. KOC told him, you're not going to start. You're going to back up McCarthy. The Colts promised him he could start at $14 million. He went back to the Vikings before he signed the deal and said, can you match it? They offered him 15, but wouldn't promise him he started. They wouldn't, but mistake. He made a mistake there, right? Rodgers wanted starter money. They wouldn't give him. They wanted 2 years, and he wanted. And they said, "You're going to be a backup. We have to give you backup money." So they could never come to terms on the money.
They blew it.
That's the
Totally
whole situation.
Meanwhile,
you can shove on the Chargers. Shove on the Chargers tomorrow.
Come on.
The Vikings are 0-7 as a road team on a Thursday night. They never win these games. Wentz is not in great shape. You know that. He can barely start, but he doesn't want to play the kid until next week in Detroit off the mini bye. That's been always the plan since week 2. They would bring the kid back at that point. There's nothing wrong with him.
That feels like bringing McCarthy back against Detroit on the road is a good idea.
Well, they wanted to get through this whole ridiculous scheduling stuff. This was a very difficult schedule, right? They're overseas, and then they come back. They have to play Philadelphia and all that. So
you think would you use Chargers in Survivor?
No, I'm not saying that. We can't be as confident as you were in Cleveland or I was in the Rams last week, right? But I think they're playable as a single game bet.
I missed that one with the Rams, and we were live on the air.
I talked about it.
I'm like, how did I not make a bet on this team?
Jacksonville's awful. They are absolutely awful. I don't know how the Chiefs.
Why are you that strong
They'll do
on
a 30. They'll do a 30 for 30 on how the Chiefs blew. a 14-point lead on Monday Night Football against this awful Jacksonville team. What is their defensive? They have no defense. Stafford goes in there with no receivers. Just they go up and down the field. I mean, they think Jackson Smith-Njigba is a possession receiver. He got behind them 4 times in that game against Seattle.
Yeah, no kidding.
And Lawrence is a bust. I'm sorry.
No, he is.
He's a bust.
Yep. Qualifies now. That's it.
It's over.
I
No more discussion.
Yep. No more passes for him.
No more passes.
You love betting baseball. You love the sport overall.
Yeah.
Are you high on either side here? Strong opinion on this series?
I'm glad Toronto won because I think it will be a better series. Mm-hmm. I think Toronto's bats can put more pressure on. They don't strike out like Seattle does. A high strikeout rate. The Mariners.
I had Dodgers winning that in a sweep or 5 games.
Right. I thought that would have been a non-competitive series. But I think Toronto's bats, the atmosphere in Toronto, that's a national team. What it was, 29% of all Canadians were watching Game 7 the other night. The TV stats came out. I think if you hold a Dodgers ticket that you bet, what, 7-1?
7 right before the playoffs.
I would let it ride with Snell in Game 1, and then I would come back because I think if it's now maybe they saved Gaussman to throw against Yamamoto, but I'm assuming they're going to throw. They're all rested now. Baseball gave them full rest after a 7-game series.
Stupid. It's outrageous. Game 1 isn't tonight. I should be rewarded for sweeping my opponent, and you went 7.
And try to do something no one's ever done.
Oh, bring that up.
That's right. Yep.
Give that stat, Paul.
Got it right here. So this is the 5th time it's happened that one team swept and the other team went 7. You had 2012, the Giants went 7, the Tigers swept, Giants won. 2007, the Red Sox went 7, the Rockies swept.
That's right.
Red Sox won. 2006, Cardinals went 7. Tigers swept. Cardinals won. And hello, Kirk Gibson. The Dodgers went 7 against the Mets. The A's swept, and the Dodgers beat. So it says Toronto here to make it 5-0. That the team that goes 7 is now 4-0 against a team coming off the sweep. Nuts.
But I think you can if you let Snell and he performs as he has, and they get through Game 1, then you can come back and the Dodgers are going to be $4 and Toronto's going to be $3 plus. And then you make your hedge.
Here's a scary thing, and Pauly and I briefly touched on this in the first hour. So their rotation has been, like the last so many games, it's better numbers than Paul Skeens was for the full year.
Yeah.
So you're throwing 4 or 5 different guys, and those guys going back as many innings as Skeens had the entire year. They have better numbers as a rotation. Come on. How is that fair? That's not one guy. That's the entire team. What if their sticks come alive? What if they did not hit against the Brewers?
I know.
The Brewers had the lowest batting average of any playoff series that went at least 3 games in the history of Major League Baseball. In that series, they hit 130.
118.
Yeah, whatever it was.
Yeah.
They scored 1 run in every game.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a joke, right?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't think Toronto will have this big brother thing either about the Dodgers, right? They're not going to be.
Yeah.
You know this is growing up in Wisconsin. You have this inferiority complex when you're the Brewers, right? Here it go.
No question.
I heard it all year when I bet them to win the National League. That's fine now, Mike. They're doing great in July, but come October, they'll shrink. That's the whole Brewer fan base mentality.
It is. And it's been a thing my entire life.
Yeah.
They're not in this spot very often. Hell, they haven't been to the World Series since 1982.
82? When they played Joaquin the Dog Andahar and the Cardinals? That was the bigger series.
7 games against the Cardinals.
Good. How about an MVP candidate or candidates? You got to throw out Ohtani. Plus 180 is outrageous.
Yeah, I saw you. I saw you on the email from Bill. You got Freddie Freeman.
You had a horrible
9-1.
I should have bet it here. You're 16. I didn't even see that.
Oh, no.
It's ridiculous.
Oh, no.
So you got the Canadian angle, which is very good. It's never happened before, back to back. That's never happened. That's a good talking point with the media. And then Mitch had these great numbers. I thought he was made up. He's homered in 6 of the last 7 World Series games and has an RBI in 7 straight.
If you think it's a long series, well, it's hard. If you think it's a long series, could you look at somebody like Snell, who wins 2 games and maybe has a role in Game 7? I guess I'd need to get like 40-1 on Snell to think about Snell.
No, that's hard to get there.
I'm
with you.
You know what I mean? I think they win Game 2, though. I think they beat Yamamoto.
Why do you say that?
There's only so many good starts he can have in a row, and he come back with a good start. But another thing is, Milwaukee, he never sweat at all. He gave up a home run on a 100-mile-an-hour fastball to start the game, and then he never threw one pitch under pressure for the next 9 innings. Mm-hmm. For the next 27 outs, he was never under pressure. They have to put some pressure on these guys.
It's like what Jeter said on the pregame, though. They make you work, and you got to be like those Yankee teams in the 90s. Make them throw a lot of pitches and get to that bullpen, and then there you go. Now, the counter is what if you get into Toronto's bullpen?
Well, they're both horrible.
How many lefties do you have? I mean, that's right.
How about unsung guys for the Dodgers, though? I had Edmund last series and Rodriguez or Kiki Hernandez. Those two guys show up all the time.
Can he just be allowed to start in October?
That's it. Don't play the regular season.
He hits 350 every playoffs.
And then how about another guy? Muncy does the same thing. He comes alive in October.
Right, regular. Muncy's a very interesting choice, because he can hit for power as well. But Rodriguez seems to have 2 hits every game.
Every game.
Yep.
And he plays every position.
Yeah. I think there's an angle. If the Dodgers win in 5, Snell goes games 1 and 5, and he's awesome.
Yeah. I don't know.
No.
That is only if it's a very low-scoring series.
Yeah. Well, by the way, why are we even talking about this? Ohtani's going to win this stupid award.
No, he can't.
He couldn't win last time.
Well, I don't think he can top Game 4. Can he top
Does he
Game
have
4?
to?
He's got to go 9 perfect and hit 5 home runs. We've kind of lost in the shuffle of our betting lives just what a feat that is, right?
Oh, come on.
We're betting and we're doing all this. I don't think we truly appreciate, and the second home run was further than Schwarber's that he hit off Yamamoto. That's really amazing.
Did they say where that ranks all time for longest home runs at Dodger Stadium? That's got to be right up there, isn't it?
I remember Piazza crushed one time by the backwards pavilion up there. But that's just to think about it, what the price is at Caesars. Will he strike out 10 guys and hit 2 home runs in the same game? It's 20-1. I mean, that's just I'm not killing Caesars. I mean, it just tells you when people are like, yeah, that can happen. Of course he can do it.
Sure,
right?
he can do it again.
It's like,
Well, that's like no-hitter, 75-1 or whatever it is, right? Yeah. They post every day.
But he also had that. He almost had the no-hitter through 5, which was 15-1. He almost cashed like 6-7 different prop bets in that game and that performance on Friday night.
What was your put up, though? Will there be a complete game? I mean, there hasn't been one in 8 years, though.
14-1.
Something hasn't happened in 8 years. I like a little more than 14-1.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's got to catch my attention here. 14-1. Come on. That's not happening. Up next here, follow the money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mike Palm will tell us that D'Amico Ryans looked at Ben Johnson and said, hold my beer. You cannot be serious. Next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Time to go scorched earth. Welcome back. Wednesdays with the Maestro, Mike Palm. This is his baby, folks. It's time for You Cannot Be Serious.
You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious.
Number 1, Ben Johnson, hold my beer. We all killed Ben Johnson on Monday night of Week 1. Mm-hmm. For outside of the 2-minute warning, kicking the ball into the field of play and letting the Vikings run it out, effectively ending the game with no timeouts. We saw the same thing happen on Monday night in Seattle between the Houston Texans and the Seattle Seahawks, only it's worse because of what happened up to the 2-minute warning. Let's take you there. 2:55 to go in the game. The Texans trailed the Seahawks 27-12, first and goal at the Seahawks 3 after a penalty. They run the ball on first down. They have one timeout left. They run the ball on first down with Woody Marks. He loses a yard. The play started at 2:55. On second down, they threw a 4-yard touchdown pass to Woody Marks. You know how much time was left on the clock? 2:04. 51 seconds expired between the time they snapped the ball on first down and ended the play on second. They took the full 40-second play clock when they. If you just decide to throw the ball 4 times from the 3, and you can complete one of the first 2 passes into the end zone, you're outside of 2:40. That gives you another timeout, plus the 2-minute warning, plus your timeout. You're getting the ball back with 1:50 if you can stop the Seahawks. Well, they didn't. They kicked the extra point. They're down 27-19. Now, they do have Kaimi Fairburn, who can kick it from there to Galveston, right? You've seen this guy kick 58, 59, 60-yard field goals all the time. What do? They decide not to onside. I get it. It's 5% chance of recovery. So you kick it out of bounds and give them a 2 at the 40. No. Fairburn kicks it 1 yard deep into the end zone. Of course, the Seahawks run it out. And now there's 1:57 left on the clock. And you have one timeout. Your best case scenario, if you stop 3 running plays, is you're going to get the ball back with 20 seconds to go. Of course, to add insult to injury, Tim Settle creates a personal foul on third down to give him an automatic first down. Darnold kneels down, and the Seahawks win again. D'Amico Ryans.
You cannot be serious.
Topic number 2, straight out of Pembroke. How long have I been telling you people about Brad Allen?
You have.
Let's go through the history.
Lunatic.
2012 Rose Bowl. I started talking about the 2012 Rose Bowl the first time I started coming on the program with you guys. Brad Allen then goes from the ACC right to the NFL and became the first official in 50 years to walk right into a refereeing position. He was supposed to be an umpire, but you know who retired at exactly the same time? Remember Mike Carey? Mike Carey, who wouldn't do the Redskins games because that's a racist name, retired, and they moved Brad Allen right into a role. Let's go back through history now. Let's go to November 2019. We all remember that fateful Monday night in Mexico City between the Chiefs and the Chargers, where twice in the second half, Brad Allen and his crew miscalled the timing of the game. Twice. Once on a pass that was inbounds that they did not keep the clock running, and once on a play out of bounds that they did it. Then let's move forward to November of 22. Remember in Seattle, Raiders in Seattle, Brad Allen spent 9.5 minutes under the hood trying to determine if Devontae Adams caught the ball. Then we go to December of the next year, 23, and that ridiculous situation on the 2-point play between the Lions and the Cowboys where he called the wrong guy eligible. They wouldn't even let his crew do playoff games in 2023 because of that whole thing. And with Dan Campbell. And then how about, Mitch, you probably remember this in last year's wild card game, where Keyshawn Nixon recovered his own fumble on the kick. It was clear as day.
That's right.
They called it Eagles ball. Even after replay, they decided to call it Eagles ball. Well, then we had what was, again, a ridiculous game in Denver. The Giants up 19-0 late in the third quarter. Here's my problem with Brad Allen on this game. I bet you they huddled 7 times as a crew to try to figure out what the penalty flags were. It was such a long game, and it was a 105 game that the first half breezed through, and yet the game must have taken 2 hours for the second half. You can argue about the pass interference in the end zone. I don't think many people thought that was pass interference. Then when Will Lutz kicks the game-winning field goal, of course, it looks like, he wants to get out of the way, Brad Allen. But, of course, he pushes or shoves Straughn, and then Greenlaw goes after him. Just walk off the field. You don't need to throw a flag and get the guy suspended. Right? And then, of course, he doesn't even speak to the media afterwards, not even through the pool reporter. We told you about him for a decade. Brad Allen!
You cannot be serious!
All right, can we go to we got the tape on this? Can we just go to the presser? Let's go right to the sound Mike McDaniel after the loss in Cleveland.
There's a lot of guys that will have an important work week because we're not, if you are negatively affecting the football team routinely, I don't have a choice but to, assess a different player, and I have to coach a lot better as well. So we need, we're going to find out who and what we're made of.
This is every week. This isn't even his worst press conference. The guy is 1-6. He's 3-14 against winning teams. He went from a top 5 offense to the number 26 ranked offense. He let his quarterback throw the whole team under the bus after he threw 3 interceptions, and then say the media spun the narrative. He threw one of the worst pick sixes I've ever seen in my life. That's the only thing that would have ever gotten Quinn Ewers into the game. And what does the GM, Chris Greer, say? We're not planning on making any changes. The same GM whose brother is 0-6, Mike Greer, with the San Jose Sharks. Doing a great job, Greer brothers. 1-12 between the two of you. Mike McDaniel.
You cannot be serious.
Unbelievable. Just number one, stop asking him the question. Number two, he's the only guy who's not thinking about his job security. Oh, I don't think about it. I can't. What do you mean you don't think about it?
They don't They don't want any serious adults there. They had Vic Fangio. They don't want Vic Fangio.
Too hard on the players.
Too hard on the players.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, it was just over 2 years ago that team scored 70 points on Denver.
Great call.
And here we go. Fast forward to today.
Gosh.
It's a clown show.
Guy went to the
Miami.
playoffs the first 2 years.
That's right.
Went into Buffalo, was like a 14, 15-point dog, almost won the game with Skylar Thompson.
How would you power rate the bottom teams in the league? Like, where would Miami be compared to the Jets, the Raiders, Tennessee?
Well, I think the Jets are the worst. I think you have to establish that.
I'm okay with that.
Because they just have no quarterback play.
Yeah.
Titans are worse.
You think so?
That's 28-6 if the Bozo doesn't drop the ball. It's 28-6. They were never in the game.
Yeah,
Changed the whole. It was over. 28-6.
I think Cam Ward gives you a better shot than what they've
He
got.
does.
I mean, Woody Johnson would tell you Cam Ward's better.
Oh my God! How about that?
That's incredible. I mean, at least I know, but they've been in some of these.
Where do you put
No,
the Saints?
above them.
Yeah,
I would think. I mean, my God, the
But
Raiders.
you go Jets worst tight, or you put the Raiders in the conversation.
Mike, KC had 30 first downs. The Raiders ran 30 plays.
Chip Kelly ran 30 plays. Let's not just say the Raiders ran 30. Chip Kelly ran 30 plays in that game.
The Jets' box scores are vomit-inducing. With the yards that they put up, or lack thereof.
You know, it's nice to only have 6 games. I know people don't like it with the buys or whatever, but you get to watch all 6 games.
Yes, thank you.
I like
it. I watched, like the Jets had not done nothing the whole game, but they were only down 7 at the end of that game to Carolina. That's how bad Carolina is on the road.
Sure.
Yeah.
But they're an awful road team. The Saints are feisty a little, but they don't have a lot of talent.
No,
They just I don't know why.
It's a bad roster.
It is a bad roster.
It's also an indictment of Kellen Moore. They're 0-7 ATS in the first quarter. That's another one. You like anything in hockey?
I do. I like 2 games tonight. I think New Jersey's playing really well. I think, will people be shocked if New Jersey came out of the East this year?
Well, weren't they a sexy team last year?
Yeah, but remember they had all those injuries at the end of the year.
Yeah, they're 5-1.
Right? They had all the injuries at the end of the year, and then they were non-competitive against Carolina because of all the injuries. I think that was the big factor. But do you understand this is the Wild's 5th straight game on the road?
Really?
Now, they won a game last night against the Rangers, but 5 in a row. Let's talk about John Hines, the head coach of the Wild, and his weekly radio hit this week. They asked him what makes a team struggle on the road when they're on road trips of 3 or plus games. He said, assuming that if the team is healthy, since the injured team is going to struggle at home or on the road, it's one of 2 things. Either, number 1, you have a young team and their road record will improve as the season goes along, or number 2, the team just really hates each other, and no matter how talented the team is, there is no accountability to the fans on the road, so they play for themselves, and your system as a team is irrelevant. Let's take New Jersey tonight, $1.25 at home. Big win last night in Toronto. They're playing so bad in front of Stolars. That looks like a beer league hockey. They had a 4-on-1 break last night. And then I love this young Montreal team. Calgary's really bad.
Yeah.
People told me how bad they were last year. I didn't believe it. They are really, really bad. If anything, witnessed by the 2 games against the Knights. Montreal, $1.20 road favorite. I think you can make a strong case for the Red Wings as well if you want to put that into a 3-teamer. As you said, now a pick 'em.
A pick 'em. I don't get that number. That seems fishy to me. I bet it, but I'm a little hesitant here because I don't get the number.
Who gets the most survivor choices this week? I mean, there's several obvious choices,
I think Indy's been used by quite a few.
Yeah. That's a tough call. They have been used by a lot. Sports Equinox is here. All 4 major leagues in action at the same time. Celebrate the best time of year for bettors with the VSiN Sports Equinox Special. Sign up now. Full VSiN Pro access to everything we do through May 1st for only $120. Less than $20 a month. Every best bet, every host, every guest. The AI-driven prop projections. It's free right now with the NBA, the betting splits, the college basketball betting guide, vsin.com/subscribe. B+.
Falcons?
I was going to say Atlanta.
Falcons?
Yeah. Against that horrible outfit in Miami. Great job,
Better
Mike.
than B+.
Really?
How could you rate last week and this week the same?